Good morning, Facebook. How's everybody doing today? I am the Moon Mama, Monique. And today is Sunday, and Sunday is governed by the sun, and the sun is over in Capricorn, and the sun is in Capricorn with Pluto and Saturn, and the south node, the north node is in Cancer. Hey Ty, how are you? So I wanted to come in and chat. Hey, hello. I saw somebody's love bubble went up. I think it was but I couldn't see the name. There was no name. So, hi Sandy. Okay, hi Mike. Hello. So today the moon is in Aquarius, and we are in an eclipse window. And the eclipse window is a really wonderful time for us to be very mindful about our energy and how we're directing it, how we're using it, what we're focusing our minds on, what we're thinking about, the choices we're making, the people we're hanging out with, because it's an energy where the veil is really thin, and what we're doing now will have a great impact going forward. So it's very significant if we just give ourselves the opportunity, hi V, to be, hey Amira, to be very mindful about the energy that the things that we are doing when we're in an eclipse energy. One of the things that I really like to do in this energy is like pay attention to how I wake up, right? So when I wake up, I am aware, before I do anything, when my consciousness comes online, I check in and go, how am I feeling? Am I constricted in any way? Am I tight? Am I open? Am I excited? I just really feel into my energy so that I can sort of course correct it before my thinking starts, right? Because if I wake up and I'm tight, my thinking will then follow that alignment. My thinking will move into oh, what do I have to do today? Or I'm late, or I'm not gonna make it, or I feel heavy, right? So I wake up immediately and see what energy is with me, and then I do the work that I need to do to open my frequency up so that I am not out of alignment with the energy of the day. The energy of today is sun in the sun in Capricorn. So we are in a contracted energetic because the sun is in Capricorn. And the sun in Capricorn is about crossing your T's and dotting your I's. It's like the taskmaster. So this is a time for us to be very mindful of how we're using our energy, not being wasteful of our energy. When we move into winter, it's very significant for us to get more rest, for us to, eat foods that are more, nourishing, and for us to rest, really to rest. There's this tendency to want to go, but the best thing we can do for ourselves right now is rest. And so I wanted to talk about, as we're moving into this Pluto-Saturn conjunction that's going to be happening on January 12th, which is my grandmother's birthday, who's no longer here with us, but I want to just say, hi Grandma, hi Myrtle. And she actually is here with us in the form of somebody else in my family, but I won't go into that. So this energy with Pluto conjunct Saturn is a very significant energy. The last time we had Pluto conjunct Saturn, it was, World War I started. And when we had Pluto in opposition to Saturn, it was 2011, and we had the towers in New York were collapsed. And then there was another one where the World War II started. This Pluto-Saturn stuff is really significant, and it's because Pluto is the destroyer. Pluto is where we come to, it's the planet of death. So it's where things really come to die, but it's about transformation, right? Death is only the beginning to something else. Death is the process of transformation. So wherever there is death, there is also life. And so this Pluto-Saturn conjunction is an opportunity, because it's in Capricorn. We're going to really watch the death of a lot of our government structures, things that we have been a part of for 400 years, since the inception of this country. are going to start coming undone because, you know, Saturn, Capricorn and Saturn are about integrity. So it's like where this country has been out of alignment, out of integrity with its practices, with its connection to, you know, we have a constitution that says that people have the right to pursue freedom. But if we have not supported people, if the government has not supported people in pursuing the freedom that they have put in a constitutional agreement, then those energies have been misaligned. And so those energies are all coming back to bite us in the ass is what I want to say. And that's not, and that feels negative, but really it's an opportunity to get free. That's what's really happening. And so for me, as a person of color who's a descendant of people who were captives here, I realized that because I read the astrology, like, oh, we're coming back to where we were when our ancestors were enslaved. And so now there's a reckoning going on with that energetically, because everything exists all at the same time. There is no past, present, and future. Everything exists in the past, present, and future now. So the frequencies that were created, you know, 400 and 500 years ago, when these conjunctions of Saturn and Pluto come back online, for instance, one of the things that I see, for like when I was younger, so for instance, the last time this happened was in 1982 or something like that. And I was looking at what was going on in the 80s for me. And I was in junior high school, and there was a child in my school who had cerebral palsy, and I used to tease this little boy, which was really interesting. Hi, Michelle. I would tease this little boy about the way that he talked. And this is how the universe works, right? So this is a little boy that I would tease and make fun of because of the way he talked, because he had special needs. And sure enough, what would life do? Give me a child with special needs. So now I'm really clear about that journey and that experience. And that was something that I have had to reckon with inside of myself. That behavior that I did as a child, you know, as a 10, 12-year-old, I'm teasing this little boy. And then, you know, 30 years later, a cycle comes back, and then I have a little boy who has special needs. So that's very similar to what goes on in all of our lives. That's how cycles work, right? And so this cycle in our government, what we created 200, 300 years ago now comes back, and the fulfillment of it will show up in our lives. Like we cannot escape our behavior. We cannot escape the choices we make. The choices we make reverberate in our lives forever. So that's why I look at astrology, so that I can start to see and learn and then course correct, because I've made tons of mistakes. Like I was telling you, I was just teasing a little boy who had cerebral palsy. And now my work is to really create spaces where people get to be themselves, where we really are all in service to one another and in service to our differences and in service to our uniquenesses. But that is something that was born out of me recognizing my behavior as a child was out of alignment. So I created, when I was a child teasing that little boy, I created a cause at that time that then showed up later, 30 years later, as an effect with me having a child with special needs. We're all doing it all of the time. It is just the way of it. We're planting seeds, and then they will blossom at another time. And that is why I follow the moon work, so that I can be very intentional about what it is I'm planting, so that I will know when the cycles come back around, I know where I have placed my energy, and I have not been ignorant. I have not been, out of alignment. I'm focusing in a way that I desire to go, and not in a way that I don't desire to go. So it's very significant for us to understand that astrology really is just the cycles and how they show up in our lives. Okay, so the things that, as Pluto comes into conjunction with Saturn, it's very important. Like I said, Pluto is about death, and death is a part of life. I don't mean physical death. I don't mean you should be afraid, but it's a change. It's about transformation at the deepest level. When the Plutonian energy is here, we can be certain that changes are afoot. We are going to change. That is just the way of it. So this conjunction that's happening on January 12th is a change for us. And the opportunity is for us to really get into our integrity. And this is what I see as I'm working with clients. Many of us are in relationships where we really aren't happy, where we really aren't feeling our needs are being met, like at the deep level. So we're surrendering into experiences that don't really fulfill us. And so we're out of integrity. And those kinds of things are going to start to break down. Many of us are working at jobs or doing things that we've outgrown, that don't serve us any longer. One of my girlfriend just posted something on Instagram, and she was saying, don't feel bad about people that you outgrow. And I always feel something about people that I'm no longer in service or that I'm no longer aligned with. Like I always feel a little bit of something, but I have a Pisces rising. But it's important for us to see if things are not in integrity any longer, if they don't match, if they don't fit, if they don't feel good, that you have to at least address it, right? It doesn't mean that you end relationships. Maybe you do, but it means that you go into the relationship with a new conversation to see what is possible, to make the adjustments. Like, hey, we've been doing this way for this many years, and that just doesn't really fit with me anymore. Do you think there's something else we can do? Or here's what I need, or how would you feel about this way of being, or this? Like, really give yourself the opportunity to take into account the considerations of what else is possible, because the old is totally going away. It is done. It is over with. Like, you just cannot make yourself fit shoes that you've outgrown, and that's what's going on right now in a rapid way. One of the other things that it's very significant for us to do with this Capricorn energy is be very mindful of how we are managing our time. As we come into these aspects, time is beginning to quicken. I don't know if you guys can notice it, but time is starting to go by really, really fast. So if you don't manage your time, if you don't tell your time how you're going to use it before you get there, like everything else will come up and distract you and steal your attention and steal your energy, and you won't be able to accomplish the things that you are here to do. And so you are responsible for the gifts that are inside of you that need to be excavated, right? So many of us have jobs where our energy is out of alignment. One of the things that I'm aware of that we don't even think about, many of us work for companies that do things that are out of integrity. Like, so if you're working for a bank, say for instance, right? And that bank does redlining in a district where it doesn't give people who are from a particular race or gender loans, or gives them higher loans because they can just hijack their money, and you work for that company, you are aligned with the energetic of that company. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth, right? And so we become a part of things. We are aligned with things that are really outside of our own integrity, and we're doing it because we need food or we need clothes. It's like, I have to work after this, but what you've done is you've aligned yourself in a way that is contracted, and you can do work. If you trust your higher source, your higher self, you can be aligned in ways that help you open up and flourish, and not bring more negativity to our current conditions and reality. And those are big things to think about. I realize that I'm saying something that's really big, but it's important for us to begin to think about our energy and how we're using it and who we're aligning with, and if it's serving us and if it's serving the world, because that energetic is karma, and it will come back, and it can show up in lifetimes, right? You know what I mean? So we're all, and it's not about feeling guilty or bad, but it really is just about asking the deeper questions and being very responsible for who you are, your thinking, your choices, the people you're aligned with, and understanding that you can't control it. This is not about controlling or micromanaging. This is about opening up to a force greater than you through the love that is within you. Love. And when I say love, I mean the love that is life, that is here to express no matter what. The love that is, the way you love your children when they're first born, because that changes when they start pulling on you and demanding. But, just that pure desire to exist. That is the guiding force within you. And it's, we live in a culture that it's very difficult for us to align ourselves with this force because we are, at the effect of bills and time and, what my partner said and health things and what my children need and all those sort of things. But for me, the moon work is this energy that helps me, align myself with higher source, with higher energy, with God, so that I don't have to worry about everything, so that I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be, so that I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so that I know that I'm being with the people that I'm here to be of service to, so that I know that I'm in relationships with the people that I am here to serve and that they are here to serve me, right? Like you cannot rely on your human intellect to align you to a greater force that will put you in places where you're supposed to be, with whom you're supposed to be. You can't do that with your human intellect. You've got to do that by creating a practice, a spiritual practice that then takes you where you're supposed to be who you're supposed to be and be with yourself. It's really a divine force that you have to tap into, and you can't do it through your human analytical thinking. And so that's one of the things that you can let go of as we move into this 2020 conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn. This idea that you are in control of your life and that you are doing it all. You have to, hi Lynn, you get an opportunity to align yourself to a force greater than you. And one of the ways to do that I do it, I use my tarot cards, I use my crystal pendulum, I use rituals, I do the moon work. All of these things help me align my energy so that I'm not efforting all the time, so that I'm not worrying and thinking about who said what or what do I need to do, so that I know that, I'm going to be where I need to be when I need to be there. I'm going to be with whom I need to be with, in the perfect time. I'm going to have exactly what I need when I need it, right? Like I have the power within me to change my mind in an instant. So for instance, it's important for us to let go of this idea that what we see and what we think is the only truth. There are as many truths and as many possibilities as there are, grass in a field. And so just because we think something doesn't mean it's true. So I remember once I was talking to someone really close to me and they had lost their job, and I was clear. I was like, oh my God, this person's job loss is likely going to impact me in a negative way because we share responsibilities together. And I heard myself say in that moment, you can think a new thought. You don't have to think. You don't have to project fear and scarcity into the future. You can think a new thought. And immediately I said, well, what if I just completely see this person having a new job and being happier than they were at this old job and having more resources and money than they had before, that they become more of a support to me and I to them. And that new thought created a whole new reality. So we can let go of this idea that what we think is the only truth and what we're experiencing is the only truth, because that is not so. We can think into new things and new ways of being if we are willing to train our energy, train our minds, train us to think in the way that is prosperous and infinite and empowering, and undo those thought patterns that would have us feeling disabled, out of control, restricted, resistance, and all of those sort of things. And so with that, I hope that these are helpful. I don't know that I really said 3. I think I may have said 33. But I hope this is helpful. And if you like to get a natal chart reading so that you can see what you have in store, for this upcoming year, please send me a private message. I can put the links here to book a natal chart reading. If you'd like to join the moon work, the 13 moons work, if you'd like to join the 13 Moons, Tressa is saying, right, we do not have to project old thoughts into reality. Yeah, we do it all the time too. That's why we continue to, because we project old thoughts into our current experience, we experience cycles over and over and over again that are undesirable because we're not putting new thoughts out there. So if you'd like some support and you'd like to join the moon work, 2 people joined yesterday. Yay, congratulations. We are in the clearing time of the year, and this is a real great opportunity for us to let go of old patterns and belief systems. So I encourage you to join, and then reach out to me privately so I can support you in any way that you need. I am the Moon Mama. Have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.